بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. I congratulate you for the blessed birth anniversary of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. So in these days and nights we celebrate these two great occasions, and it is well known that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إنما بعثت لأتمم مكارم الأخلاق. I have been raised by God as a prophet only, because innama is for hasra, for exclusiveness, only to accomplish noble traits of character. It means that anything else comes under this. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that the Prophet himself had great traits of character. إِنَّكَ لَعْلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. As you know, we have also a very comprehensive dua of Makarim al-Akhlaq from Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam. So it's very relevant because the mission of the Prophet is to accomplish Makarim al-Akhlaq, and we are celebrating his birth, and Imam Zainul Abidin has this beautiful dua of Makarim al-Akhlaq. Alhamdulillah, we had some sessions on dua of Makarim al-Akhlaq, and you can find them on YouTube. So this is the last session, Reflections on Dua of Makarim al-Akhlaq, part 17, which we ended just on the 5th of November. So in every session, which is about 25-30 minutes, we discussed few sentences of Dua Makarim al-Akhlaq. So to have a quick review of the dua and some of the practical implications of the dua and how we can relate it to our life, inshallah you can refer to those lectures. What I was thinking we can do in this session is not to repeat that. I was hoping that with this group we can have a project together, and that is to reflect on Dua Makarim al-Akhlaq and see what lessons, what instructions, what advices we can take for having a moral lifestyle, or for having mental health, happiness, success, avoiding despair, depression, anger, these type of things. Alhamdulillah, we have had many sessions till now together, so we are somehow on the same page, and each of you can bring lots of ideas and experience, and every person is unique, and I was thinking what we can do. This is my suggestion, of course you can make other suggestions, is once we go quickly through the dua, not doing tafsir or reflection, anything, just a little translation, and at every sentence we stop and you raise ideas that, for example, this sentence can relate to this point, this point, this point. Okay? Then when we finish, then we try to classify, and my suggestion is every person, based on his or her interest, choose one of those topics and prepare a little presentation. So in this way we can make sure that we have a comprehensive, inshallah, approach to the dua. And inshallah, if this goes well, then we can go to other du'as, and based on few du'as we can come up with a model that when it comes, for example, to my relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what are the key elements? When it comes to my relation with my friends, with my enemies, with my, neighbors, with my colleagues, with myself, about future, about past, about my sins, everything, but from mostly cognitive approach, psychological approach, something that can be used then in offering advice to people. Okay, of course, we are the first person to benefit, but if we want to help someone else, then I think this would be a good way. So if you are happy with this suggestion, we can start with a quick review, maybe 1 session, 2 sessions, we go through it, but after each sentence I stop and you raise the points. It can be an idea, it can be a question, and anything, you just feel free. And we should make note of these things, and then inshallah we come back and classify, and everyone says, I want to work on this, for example, and prepare something. Is this what you are happy with? Salam alaikum. Okay, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Because you join now, so what we are going to do is we are going to have a quick review of Dua Makarim. So this is not a session on tafsir. This is just because we have had tafsir, alhamdulillah, before. We go quickly to the different passages of Dua Makarim al-Akhlaq. After each sentence, we will have a stop. We don't want to discuss, just we want to raise ideas and questions, and we take note of these ideas. Then we have to classify, and then inshallah we will have discussions based on those points that we have picked up. Okay, this dua, as you know, is repeatedly saying Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa alih, because this is a very blessed dua that it can be facilitating acceptance of other du'as. So if you start your dua with salawat and end with your salawat, inshallah whatever is in between is also accepted. So this is one of the du'as in which we have many occurrences of salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa alih. And maybe also we can discuss about the impact that salawat can have on bringing, some kind of peace to us. وَبَلِّغْ بِإِيمَانِ أَكْمَلَ الْإِيمَانِ. Please make my faith, my iman, reach the most perfect iman. So for example, as just a way to explain what we want to do. So here, for example, you may say it's very important that Imam started before anything else with iman. So it means that iman is the key point for every person. It is also important that Imam is telling us that in our life, especially when it comes to spirituality and to religion, we should not be aiming at a low or minimum level or even average level. Yeah? Every person should try to be ambitious. At least here, we are not saying about worldly affairs. So this is something we can discuss. Is it good that we encourage people that try to achieve the best? Or maybe, for example, for some people, we shouldn't suggest them this because they are already themselves perfectionists. And if we say this, but as a general thing, it shows that every person should try to improve, and it shows that there is no also limit. No one should think that perfection is reserved for some people. Any person can ask, بلغ بإيماني أكمل الإيمان. So, anything comes to your mind about this first sentence? Or do you want me to maybe read a few sentences, then I stop? Maybe when we reach the next salawat. وَجَعَلْ يَقِينِي أَفْضَلَ الْيَقِينِ. And make my certainty the best certainty. Means whatever best certainty is possible, I want to reach that. So for example, the role of certainty. I think one of the things which is very destructive is to be in doubt and unsure. Yeah? And sometimes it reaches the point that people, even for very simple questions, they cannot make up their mind. Yeah? It also can be not being able to develop trust. They are always in doubt about people. They cannot understand who is reliable, who is not reliable. Salam alaikum. It's okay.
I'm so sorry, Ami.
It's okay.
Lots of traffic.
Yes. So it's very destructive not to be able to establish trust and certainty. On the other hand, one of the things that can be an obstacle is if you easily become certain. That is also actually very harmful. There are people that quickly make a decision, quickly form a judgment, and this is also difficult. This is not certainty. This is just rushing in judging. So I think this is also something important, that what approach we should have in assessing and evaluating the data, in judging about people, in establishing relation with people, and in particular how important it is that at least for certain issues you are certain. So for example, about your faith, if you are certain, about Allah's love and mercy, if you are certain, at least these become like a solid foundation that if you have doubt about small issues, you can manage. But if everything is undecided and everything is not sure, then that would be a problem. And I think it's very much damaging person's peace of mind if he's always in doubt. وَانْتَهِ بِنِيَّتِي إِلَىٰ أَحْسَنِ النِّيَّاتِ. Intention is, as you know, very important in Islamic morality, because we believe that every good action or every righteous deed, every amal saleh, has two major elements. Salam. The action to be considered, for the action to be considered as amal saleh, we need two major things. One is the action itself should be good, because we believe that there is intrinsic goodness and badness, there is essential goodness and badness. Keeping your promise, or for example helping people who are needy, in themselves are good. Mistreating, for example, orphans in itself is bad. So the action itself should be good, but also the agent that brings action also should have goodness. So we say husn fi'li and husn fa'ili. Yeah, should have goodness of the action and goodness of the agent. And a great part of husn fa'ili, the goodness of agent, is the intention. So the fa'il, the agent, should have first of all attention and then good intention. So if I am doing something when I'm sleeping, it's not considered as a moral action, because you don't have any attention. You don't know what are you doing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, even with respect to salat, La taqrabu salata wa antum sukara. When someone is drunk and doesn't understand what he's doing, even salat is not useful. So there should be attention and understanding plus good intention, to the extent that hadith says إنما الأعمال بالنيات, or لكل امرئ ما نوى, or النية أساس العمل. Actions are judged based on the intentions. Not that, good intention is enough. Good action plus good intention. But something that I think has not yet been well discussed, and you as people who are involved in psychotherapy and psychology can help, is how much impact one's intentions has on the person himself or herself. A person who has good intentions, his own life will be affected by good intentions. Even if he's not able to bring all those intentions into reality, his own life, if you want to help everyone, if you want, no one suffers, you want orphans to be well looked after, poor people, be able to meet their needs. You want to help everyone, you want to make everyone happy. This intention is great.
And not expecting anything back, as we
Yes,
discussed earlier.
yes. And you don't expect anything.
In return.
And one of the things also which is very important, inshallah, if you want, you can listen to the first lecture, I explained it more. That when it comes to intention, there should be no limit. After two sentences, we say, Allahumma waffir bil-lutfika niyyati. With your grace, make my intention grow. Why you cannot, in your intention, be universal? In your action, you can never be overcoming barriers and obstacles and shortcomings, in your action. How many people you can feed? In action, there's a limit. You can feed 10 people, 1 million people, but there's a limit. But what limits your intention?
Our thoughts.
Your thoughts, your own close-mindedness can limit your intention. Otherwise, you should have the intention of helping all people all over the world, because you don't want anyone suffer. We don't want even one animal suffer. Yeah. So at least in our intention we can be rahmatan lil alamin. Yeah. And I think this is very important. You know, when we say, for example, in this dua in months of Ramadan, Allahumma adkhil ala ahli al-qubur as-surur, Allahumma aghni kulla faqir, Allahumma ashbi' kulla ja'i', Allahumma aksu kulla uryan. And this is not even to be limited to people of our generation. In your intention, you should try to include even future generations. But there is something important here. Intention can be fake sometimes. How? For example, imagine I can feed 10 people. Okay? I don't feed 10 people and I have the intention of feeding all humanity. This is fake. Because you are not doing what you can do. But if I am doing what I can, the rest with intention, I can reach to them. Okay? So sometimes I say there is a magnificent difference only if you manage to do the maximum that you can do. For example, please look at this scenario. Imagine I can feed 10 people. Okay? Every month, for example, I can feed 10 people. And suppose, for example, this costs me, I don't know, 200 pounds, for example. Okay? There are people in some parts of the world with 20 pounds, you can feed them. I don't give this 200 pounds and I feed 9 people. Okay? So I spend 180 pounds. Okay? Then I make dua, or intention, Allah, I want to feed everyone. Because of not reaching to the last level that you can reach, your intention is not accepted. Yeah, you cannot say I have the intention of feeding everyone while still there is one more person that you are not reaching. But another person does the 10 that he can, and then he has also intention to do more. So just by doing a little extra, the difference is made, and that difference then brings big difference. Because Allah, reward you according to your good intention. So it's very important. It's not that much important how much you do. The main thing is you do the maximum that you can do. That's the main thing. If you reach that point that you do the best that you can do, then the way you are treated is different. So there is a special treatment by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for those who really stretch themselves and reach the limit. After that, then you are treated as a person who has demonstrated his genuineness. Then your intentions also are considered and counted. But those who have not reached this point, their intentions are not serious. So I think it's very important that we tell people that they should do maximum they can do, but when it comes then after that to the intention, there should be no limit. And here, for example, one of the things that is very difficult for people is to have intention of doing good to the people who have harmed them. But I think actually one of the best treatments for people who have been mistreated is to be able to forgive and even wish good for those people, because this automatically raises their level to a level which is so high that they would not be stuck with those bad memories or bad things. Yeah, if you can pray for someone who has annoyed you, if you can wish good for someone who has annoyed you. But on the other hand, if you pray against that person and wish bad for that person, I think it will not be good for you. Plus, if that person becomes worse, again you suffer more. Because if you pray against him, he can become worse. So for example, if I have a child who annoys me, I am not very happy with that child. What should I do? Should I curse him? Then he becomes worse. Or I should pray for him. I should try not to be affected by this, because if a father, for example, is affected by the child's bad behavior, it's very bad for the child. So I should a little bit be controlling my emotions. And whenever my, for example, children, my brothers, my students, whenever they hurt me, I should try not to be hurt, because if I am hurt, they become worse. Okay? And also it's not good for me. So I should wish them good, I should pray for them, and in this way I grow. And when a person who is hurt is praying for that person, inshallah that person will be changed. When you are happy with your child and you pray, of course it's very important. But if you are hurt and still you pray for your child, then Allah says, look at this man, this woman, still wants from me good for this person. So inshallah this dua is more likely to be answered.
Can I ask something? Sometimes in the du'as we hear something along the lines of, I don't know if it was this one, you are asking Allah that if somebody does this, you do this to him. Something, how do we understand that?
Those are normally the cases that there are people that are not changed. They are people who have reached the point that they are not having any door for the light reaching them. And also many of those cases are the cases that we ask them not to be able to continue their zulm. For example, make them busy with themselves. Okay? But if someone has the chance of becoming a good person, we should not pray that they will be destroyed.
But
Yes.
on the same note, when there's dua that says if someone's doing evil to you, send the evil back to them. Like, how is that like good?
What is that?
Like I've read it, not in a, I can't remember the specific dua.
Like Dua Makarim,
Yeah,
Man Qadani Fakid.
No, that's different.
But I don't understand.
No. Actually, the Quran says someone who does bad to you, you should idfa. The Quran said, لا تستوي الحسنة ولا السيئة ادفع بالتي هي أحسن السيئة. Good and bad are not the same. When someone does bad to you, answer by the best, not only by good. Man aradani besu'an fa'arid means if someone makes a plan against me, okay, and this plan is still going on, you take care of them. I don't want, to get into something, bad or immoral. And also I don't have the knowledge, I don't have all the information to make a plan. You take care of them.
Because somebody was saying that if
But this is for a problem which is going on.
yeah.
Not that someone 10 years ago made a plan against me, now I still ask Allah, to punish him. Yes.
Because some people are saying that if you ask the evil to go back to the evil sender or planner, yeah, it's creating more evil. Rather, you should say to Allah to remove the evil.
Yeah.
But
Pray for that person. Pray that Allah will help him to overcome these problems. Yeah, it's better that you pray so that he becomes better, not that you pray against that person so that he becomes worse.
Yeah.
If a husband and wife have problem and then they start praying against each other, then they become just worse.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, there is something they say that, for example, if someone's backbiting you, maybe to make you feel better, that their good deeds will come to you and your sins will go to them. So what does that have to do with this? You're saying we shouldn't be thinking of something evil, but is that just said as like a comfort to you if you come to know that someone's backbiting?
Yeah, we have this, that if someone has committed ghiba and has not been forgiven, then from his good actions will be given to that person, and if good actions are not there, from bad actions of the one who was backbiter will be given to this person. This is not forgiven. But I think what we can say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we leave it to you, but I don't want, because of me, any of your servants be in difficulty. So I leave it to you. If it is possible, please forgive him. Please don't let him suffer from this. And then Allah is able to give you, rewards, not necessarily by taking from that person and giving to you. So I think it's very important that you can sit comfortably despite being, mistreated, but sit comfortably, relax, and without interference of emotions, wish good for that person. Yeah? And try to find a way to help that person and help your relation. Because your relation cannot be helped by that person suffering. Yeah? Because our relations are very important. I think even our relation with our enemies is very important. You cannot say, I don't care about my relation with my enemies. You have to care about any relation that you have. Even if it's a relation with an animal that you have to be caring in relation with friends, with enemies, with every person. So if there is a way that I can improve the relation with the enemy so that I can reduce the enmity, I should do it. Yeah. So we should not make relations worse. وَبِعَمَلِي إِلَىٰ أَحْسَنِ الْأَعْمَالِ. Please make my niyyah reach the best niyyat, the best of intentions, and my action the best of actions. You see, always aiming at the best. أكمل الإيمان, the most perfect faith. أفضل اليقين, the best yaqeen, certainty, the best niyyah, the best action. Yeah. So I think we are justified in understanding that we should try to achieve the best. Okay? At least we aim at that. Allahumma waffir bilutfika niyyati. Oh Allah, please grow and make abundant my niyyah, yeah? Abundant. Wasahih bima indaka yaqini. And with what you have, correct my certainty. So means to have certainty, but also to be safe and sound, not to be based on ignorance. Sometimes people have, we say, jahl murakkab. They don't know, but they think they know. This is very dangerous. Someone doesn't know, okay, it's jahl basit. But someone doesn't know and thinks that he knows. That's the most difficult thing. وَاسْتَصْلِحْ بِقُدْرَتِكَ مَا فَسَدَ مِنِّي. And please make in a right condition with your power whatever has become corrupt. Salah and fasad are opposite. Yeah, fasad means corruption, disorder. Salah means to be in a good form, good shape. So, in a very comprehensive way, Imam says, whatever, anything from me, which is not in a good condition, which is in a corrupt condition, is not in a good order, please improve it and bring it to good order. Okay, then we reach the next salawat. So far, what questions, what ideas come to your mind, and how do you see this can relate to issues that you are dealing with in your work? Yes.
In terms of work only, I was thinking that if you can first elaborate a bit more on certainty, this one and the one we mentioned before twice, certainty.
Yeah.
So what sort of things are we looking for? You gave 2 examples or so. If you can elaborate a bit more, what sort of things do we think about that we should be certain, that we want to be more certain?
Certainty is always useful, okay? But sometimes it's not possible for us, especially when it comes about other people. To be certain that someone is good or someone is bad, it's not easy, yeah? So you have to learn how avoid suspicion and make a good relation with people without becoming certain that this person is good, because then in future you might be disappointed. Or even if you see bad things in a person, maybe this is just your impression. Maybe so you don't become certain that that person is a bad person, okay? But you have to learn how to work with this, how to maintain your relation, put them in good direction, but not become certain. But when it comes to, as I said, certain issues, we have to be certain. For example, about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have to be certain. Yeah? About our iman, about Quran, about Prophet, about Imam Zaman. These things we have to be certain. We cannot be in doubt about these issues, because this would drain our energy, even if we don't notice. Or, for example, there are issues about, for example, fiqh, about akhlaq. We can go and ask. We shouldn't remain in doubt. So, anything which is possible for us to have certain knowledge about it, we should try to achieve it and reserve it, because it's then giving you confidence. These are like jewelries which are giving you, confidence. For example, in countries that they print notes, there should be a backup, a reserve for it. So our certainty is, you don't know how important it is to be certain that, for example, your mother, your father love you for a child. It's very important. There is no replacement for that, I think. When they know that the father, their mother, loves them, then if anyone on the street challenges them, they don't have worry, because they know I go back home, then it's okay. Like someone who is, your, for example, computer is going out of battery, you plug it. When you go home, it's like plugging yourself. Anything that you lack, you will receive it. So it's very important to be able to be certain about these issues. Sometimes people are so optimistic and, you say cynical? People who cannot, that they cannot sense, even if there is love or there is, kindness, they are always in doubt. And the more you, for example, show love to them, the more they doubt. So you have to be able to achieve certainty in these areas.
I think I was thinking more about clients or people who have a problem because they can't tolerate uncertainty, and life is full of uncertainty.
Yes.
So they worry all the time.
Yes.
So I think that's why I was saying
Yeah.
that you have to learn to live with uncertainty for a lot of things, but maybe there are some things for which
You can be certain.
Yeah, and where you need that certainty, you can pray for it.
Yeah.
To help achieve certainty about people's actions, to avoid judging people
Yeah.
for good or bad actions, sometimes it can be difficult So a person sitting in front of me, if I hear their story and if I sense that they've done something quite bad, automatically my instinct is to judge them, that they're not a good person. Is it helpful to separate between the person and their action? So the action you can call bad, but not necessarily the person, because the person is not what their action is. The person is more than their action, because in the future they might do good actions. So is it reasonable to maybe make a judgment on their action, but then not extend that judgment to the person sitting in front of you?
Yeah, as much as possible, we should try to avoid judging people, and if needed, we can judge about their actions or their habits if needed, because sometimes it's not needed, but sometimes I have responsibility because they ask me for advice, or I don't know, for example, people are under my care, or I'm a teacher. So if needed, then you try to only limit your judgment to the action, not to that person's, personality, or saying that he is going to go to heaven or he's going to go to hell. This is not up to us. And just in the last session of Divine Justice, we had good discussion from Ayatollah Mutahari about this issue, that how Rasulullah said even to mother of Sa'd ibn Mu'adh, that Rasulullah was, in the funeral, prayed, everything, said, for example, congratulations, you go to heaven. Rasulullah said, La tahtami ala Allah. Don't make any firm decision on the behalf of God. Or another story of the wife of a person who hosted Uthman ibn Maz'un. Said, Hani'an laka al-Jannah. Rasulullah said, no, don't say this. So, we should not make judgment, whether it's positive or negative, and leave it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When it comes to the people's personality, especially in future, people can change. Even if someone now is bad, maybe he can change. And also, I think we should be so much concerned about our own problems. Yeah? Because in these issues, you are not to look at people like, I am a doctor, I am healthy, and this person is ill. An ill person is helping another ill person. But our illnesses are maybe different. I should never think that I am a healthy, doctor, and patient is in need of my help. Who am I, to look at people in a negative way, Maybe Allah knows that I have much bigger problem than this person. So with humbleness and just limit it to the action. But if we don't judge about the action, then it's not good, because it confuses people. If anyone, makes, for example, a bad action, and we keep silent and we don't pass judgment even in our heart, then how people can learn? So we shouldn't go to that extreme. But on the other hand, we shouldn't go to judging the personality of people and start hating them, because of that. In your studies or experiences, have you ever come to something about the role of intention in someone's mental health, well-being?
Sorry, who's going to say something? No, go ahead. So, the starting point for psychologists, for psychotherapists, is unconditional positive regard. So it means that we have the best of intentions, and we have non-judgmental warmth, empathy, congruence. These are some of the kind of conditions for counselling as a starting point. And we don't say the word intentions in psychotherapy, but when we say unconditional positive regard, which kind of translates to whatever that person has done, is doing, they're taking drugs, they're harming themselves, they're harming others, that we're there to support them. through that difficulty. So we don't make the judgment.
Yeah, that's maybe different. First of all, that is for the practitioner, not for the patient. So my question is, do you try in your treatment to, for example, grow that person's good intentions?
I would say that mindfulness activities are.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, that's for attention.
I'm not sure, because on the one hand, mindfulness will give you the. I was thinking that in formulating an intention, but also in extending it and potentially even in trying to purify it. Mindfulness, introspection, and then challenging limiting beliefs are all aspects that kind of can strengthen a person's ability to, I suppose, focus not on the intention, but actually then sort of work through it in their mind. But taking that pregnant pause to actually formulate an intention is uniquely tied with mindfulness practice, I would say.
But even someone who is full of hatred can be mindful.
But then you formulated a negative.
Or someone who is miserly is very mindful not to spend any pence.
But that's a negative intention.
Pardon?
But that's a negative intention.
So about good intention, so my question is how much you deal with this aspect of helping people to grow good intention.
So I think we're not supposed to do that.
Oh, sorry, this is the issue. Yeah, go
We're not supposed. I think people are supposed to formulate their own goals, and I don't think we are supposed to tell them to formulate good intention.
No.
You try to maybe support them.
To encourage them, to help them. They should grow it, but you should help them, yeah?
But if you
can
then you would be judgmental, and I think we're not supposed to be judgmental.
I think you can help them to challenge their limiting beliefs. So, for example, the things that stop you from making your intention at the maximum level, if you're challenging those limiting beliefs, that then enables them to actually realise, oh yeah, actually I was only thinking of my intention this big because actually I thought all of those other things were impossible, or I could never do that. And that comes from a place of I can't.
We don't.
Why you can? Sorry, I didn't get why you cannot encourage someone to have intention of helping all the poor people, for example, or more, at least. If someone is.
But that's because it's my conviction that that's good.
No.
I think other people might have different opinions.
No, is there any?
Islamically, yes.
No, is anyone doubting, for example, goodness of kindness?
Yeah, because there's a lot of people who say, I don't want to be kind. No, I would.
So then that's the illness. Oh, that's the illness. If someone says, I don't want to be kind.
No, but it will be...
There's a problem, serious problem here.
You might say, I don't want to be kind to that person because they're not kind to me. So it's not a general
rule.
No,
I'm not talking about particular person. But if any human being says that I don't want to be kind, I think this person is ill.
But a practitioner would then try and find out why. It could be that person has been so tainted.
No, it doesn't worry you if you are to help.
But look at big corporations. There's a lot
Pardon?
of people big corporations, a lot of NHS management. There's a lot of people who don't want to be nice. They're just...
Yeah. I think.
But they're not ill, a lot of them.
Yeah. I think
the way they are. Islamically, yes, they might be, but...
I'm not saying what should you do right now in your practice. I am saying if we want to help a human being, what should we do? But how much you can do this, how much your condition allows you, that's another issue. But I think any human being who even doubts, not only denies, even doubts that he should be kind, I think there's an illness there. Humanity is lacking here.
Are you asking if we encourage goodness within our interaction? Yeah. So again, it depends on the context. So while I was working in private practice, if an issue of anything might come, a lot of time I remember referring to the ayah which says, deal with illness, bad treatment with best,
yeah.
and again that would match with as long as the client was Muslim and in private practice, with the fact that they could then experiment. If they do this, what happens, and if they do the old ways, what happens, and they can see the difference. And then, like you said, that if when you do have good intention and you are relaxed, then you realize that in the end that works for you. But that's again because you have another context. If you are in the NHS, then I don't know how you would feel about introducing that idea.
Can I just
Yes.
interject? Sorry. What we do is, because we're focused on the person, on the individual, so we don't bring morality into it. And there are now third wave therapies. So the cognitive behavioural therapy was a kind of second wave, and then we're now going into the third wave therapies, where we know that it's not just about the cognitions, it's not just about behaviour. There is more going on. There's more to the person. Kind of, you want to get more of a kind of a spiritual kind of conceptualization. So the third wave therapies are therapies like acceptance and commitment therapy, compassion-focused therapy. These therapies bring in an element of morality, but nonetheless, we are restricted by the scientific framework. So they have to be evidence-based as well.
Yeah.
So when we practice in the NHS, a lot of these are not in the NICE guidelines because they haven't yet been validated. So when we work along a therapeutic formulation, that means trying to understand what the person is bringing and how we can best help them, then we have to work in an evidence-based way. So some practitioners choose to work with those third wave therapies, but they're limited in their evidence base at the moment.
Yeah. My idea is that what we discuss here might not be immediately getting into your practice. Okay? It may indirectly, for example, help you. But what we want to achieve is, with your experience and expertise, we work together and come up with an Islamic way of helping people to become better. Maybe we offer this service in masjid, for example. Maybe we offer this service in a Muslim country or in a private. But if someone comes to me and says, you spent your life in Islamic studies, and you say you have Quran teachings of Ahlul Bayt, what have you got? I want to listen to you. Okay, I listen to you. You'd help me to become a better person. What we have to offer. So we have to benefit from all your experiences and expertise. Work together, come up with an Islamic model. Whether people want it or not, we are not going to impose or bring it to places that they don't want this. But I think at least for ourselves we should have. For example, with your own children, with your own community members, at least we can do this. But I am sure there are many people who are happy to come to us if we have a good model to offer. Even
I agree. I
yeah.
really support that. And a lot of people in the community do come to us and say, we specifically want a Muslim practitioner because we want to understand things from the Islamic perspective. So I would definitely support that.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
also, could it not be transferable then? Like, just we don't have to say this is from the Quran. If we bring it up from them, like more Socratic, bring it up from them what they are doing now, and then encourage them to try differently without bringing it from our mouth. And what else could you do? And then transfer the same learning, but not like bringing it right out from the Quran or something.
Yes.
There is a model, and you can. It's called psychoeducation. And in the Islamic counseling model, you look at the person from their fitra, from their higher self. So at the end of the day, the way I work is I'm working with children at the moment. And the child, they're so beautiful because their fitra is more clear and they're more in tune with it. So a child comes in and she's being bullied and manipulated by another person, and I psychoeducate her how to deal with that, for her to preserve her fitra and her good nature. Yeah. So she does it. She finds a bit of self-esteem.
Yeah.
Now she wants payback on the girl. Now you treated me like a dog. I'm now in a position I feel good about myself. Now I want you to feel how I felt. I told her it's not good. Two wrongs don't make a right. You have to educate people because if you're looking at them from an Islamic counseling perspective, you're seeing Allah created that person with a fitra and with purity. They're confused in their things. So what you're saying is that their actions aren't them. And in order to help them separate themselves from their action, you have to educate them about their good self.
Yeah.
So it's important. But in other models, like what the sister is saying, psychodynamic, the closest to Islamic counselling is to have a look at the person and treat them with the highest positive regard. That's the only one really. But Islamic counselling, yeah, it takes it to that level. You orientate, you ask Allah, you have intentions for that person's good intentions because everybody is good. Maybe some things in their life have made them bad. So you have to try and help them in that way. And it's important that you educate people about that. Because really, most human beings are good.
Can I just
So you have to connect them with, like, in the Islamic counselling, what we do is look at the person in their higher self and we reflect that back to them.